market.
And you know what? We'll start in Toronto. I guess less about last night, but I know your colleague, Pierre Lebrun, he was talking about Chris Tanev and just wondering, if you're the Leafs, you're probably spending this first round pick that you have. You don't have a second. You don't have a second for years to come. You're going to be spending this pick. Do you just beat the market? And granted, Tanev is injured right now, and that might be just the story, but how cute do you want to get if you're Brad Treliving, if you feel that Tanev is the near perfect fit for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a game of chicken right now, though, isn't it? Because if you're Treliving, you're looking at that first round pick. Every team in the league knows that he doesn't have a second. So he's looking at Chris Tanev, would love to have him. Right shot, high character guy. But is he really worth a first round pick? Well, Craig Conroy thinks so. Late first, early second, we're kind of splitting hairs, right? When we talk that way. Maybe in Treliving's world, he thinks he can get something better or younger with that first round draft pick as we get closer to the March 8th trade deadline. But there's danger in that. What if you don't? And now it's automatically a first round pick. And, so I think it's in the best interest of the Toronto Maple Leafs to try and add sooner than later. Steal a page from Jimmy Rutherford and the Vancouver Canucks, right? I mean, this is vintage Jimmy with Patrick Allvin. Just fill a void, get a piece that is going to make you better. And if something else pops up down the line between now and the deadline, well, good for you. You don't stop making deals. If there's a fit, there's a fit. So I think in the best interest of the Maple Leafs, if it's not Tanev, if it's somebody else, I would strike sooner than later.
I'll play devil's advocate. If I'm Brad Treliving, do I want to acquire Chris Tanev when there's 50 games left in the season to get hurt in? I'd rather do it when there's 10.
But you can control his workload then, right?
Right. I hear you, Ryan. But so
if he's hurt in March, I don't want him. You'll know in March if he's hurt. You won't know now.
That's fair. But as long as you can live with whatever the ailments are and you don't think that they're long standing, I mean, any player in the league can get injured at any point, right? I mean, that's just kind of the roll of the dice.
As much as him, though?
Yeah, it's a lot.
He's probably the 99th percentile injury guy. Look at his player card.
Yeah, I know. But he also plays through a lot too, right? Yeah. So, when you get into that beast mode, hope in the playoffs, which is where the Toronto Maple Leafs would need him the most. And look, we're talking about a captive audience here. Let's not be naive enough to think that Chris Tanev is the only target, regardless of what our good pal Pierre Lebrun writes. I mean, there are other pieces around the league. It's just the asking price. Like Sean Walker is a nice fit for the Maple Leafs. Right shot guy. They don't care that he's 5'10" because he plays a complete game. But Danny Briere isn't offering Sean Walker to the Toronto Maple Leafs or anyone else for less than a first round draft pick. That's the currency right now. So I guess if I'm Treliving and I'm looking at Tanev, I'm looking at Walker, I'm looking at another piece, especially with the pending UFAs, I'm sure Newport will play the game, right? Newport Sports, Wade Arnott will say to Brad Treliving, hey, I might be able to help. Like, let's figure this out. But geez, it'd be nice if we ended up with a contract extension for Chris Tanev before the dust settles. And that wouldn't be a bad thing for the Maple Leafs either, because this isn't a short-term fix. And Toronto gets into more trouble next year, obviously. We know the cap is going up, but William Nylander is going to eat all of that. And then you've got Tavares going into the final year, Mitch Marner going into that final year, and it gets even more complicated for Tree. So any work that he can get done in an all-in mode this season in Toronto, I think he needs to do that.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out more of our content right here on the Flames Nation YouTube page. We had a bunch of great long-form interviews. You can check out some videos we've done as well outside of the studio. And of course, if you want more writing or merchandise stuff, flamesnation.ca or nationgear.ca. Appreciate you watching.